despite drafting Shedeur Sanders. Should Andrew Berry be blamed for roping in troubled talent in Cleveland? When the Cleveland Browns traded up to select Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, it raised eyebrows across the league for two main reasons. First, the pick came just 2 rounds after the team had already selected another quarterback, Dillon Gabriel. Second, it added to an already packed QB room that included Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, and Kenny Pickett. But the Browns, and GM Andrew Berry in particular, believed Sanders was simply too good a value to pass up at that point. According to ESPN's Daniel Oyefusi, after the draft, Berry worked hard to trade up for Sanders, beginning his push late in the 4th round. This gamble made sense on paper because the QB prospect had draw day 2 grades from multiple teams, and his 2024 college campaign at Colorado, 4,134 yards, 37 TDs, 10 INTs, had scouts intrigued. So getting the former Colorado star in the 5th round would be an extremely value-for-money pick, a sentiment GM Berry explained post-draft. We didn't necessarily expect him to be available in the 5th round. We love adding competition to every position room. Now, just weeks before the season kicks off, the concerns are piling up. Sanders hasn't cracked the top 2 in the QB depth chart, and insiders believe he could be either traded or cut. So naturally, for a franchise in flux, it's brought scrutiny back to Andrew Berry, not just for drafting Sanders, but for a perceived trend of bringing in high-risk players. Garrett Bush, host of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, recently pointed this trend out as he bluntly analyzed the situation. Quinton Judkins, his battery domestic violence case is nothing new to Browns fans. Bush said, there have been a lot of scandals. You start with Deshaun Watson. You can go back to Johnny Manziel, Josh Gordon, Kareem Hunt, Malik McDowell, Perion Winfrey. Bush acknowledged the uncomfortable pattern. Andrew Berry has had multiple guys that he has been involved with, whether he's trading for them, scouting and drafting, or signing them in free agency. There have been guys with checkered pasts. So the analysts drew a clear line when it came to accountability. Andrew Berry didn't do nothing to nobody. Andrew Berry's not around here roughing his wife up. Andrew Berry's a businessman. I can't put nobody else's actions on him. He added, if there was red flags in the evaluation process and you still move ahead, then by all means you can be held accountable. But if you do your evaluation, nothing comes up, you can't know what a person will or won't do. And Sanders, by all public accounts, had a clean profile entering the draft. In fact, the only questionable element in his character came after his NFL entry when he was caught speeding twice above the limit. Moreover, as iterated before, his slide into day 3 was unexpected. So, on paper, Berry taking a flyer on an elite talent with minimal draft capital is exactly the kind of opportunistic move great GMs are expected to make. As Bush put it, sometimes the look is worse than what it actually really means. Ultimately, whether Sanders pans out or not, it's a risk-reward equation Berry was right to explore, especially at pick no 144. The fallout may be frustrating, but as the Browns try to rebuild amid instability and scrutiny, the bigger picture remains clear. Not every risk is reckless. Some are just smart bets that didn't pay off. The city of Cleveland has always worn its heart on its sleeve. From the highs of LeBron James to the lows of the Browns' endless quarterback carousel, the fans know passion, they know pain, and they know potential when they see it. Enter Shedeur Sanders. The electric, headline-grabbing quarterback drafted by the Cleveland Browns, son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, Shedeur brings charisma, a rocket arm, and a resume decorated with comebacks, clutch throws, and Colorado magic. Paper is everything the city's been starving for, a face of the franchise with the swagger to match. But even with Shedeur's arrival, the eyes of Cleveland fans aren't just on the field. They're on the front office, specifically general manager Andrew Berry. Berry's tenure has been a cocktail of boldness, risk-taking, and analytics-fueled decisions. Some of those risks have paid off, drafting talents like Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah or extending core players early, but others have left fans wondering whether Cleveland is building a winner or gambling with its soul. One major bone of contention is Berry's tolerance or calculated embrace of troubled talent. Time and again, Berry has rolled the dice on players with red flags, whether those were off-field issues, character concerns, or locker room volatility. From trading for Deshaun Watson amid serious legal controversies to giving second chances to players with questionable pasts, Berry's choices often force fans to weigh morality against performance. The question isn't whether Andrew Berry is smart. He's one of the youngest GMs in the league, Ivy League educated and statistically forward-thinking. But more importantly, he's self-taught, the most financially wealthy of all time. He's the clearest of the life that anyone in the major league can see. The question is, does his willingness to acquire troubled talent undermine the long-term culture and identity of the Browns, and should he be held accountable for it? The Shedeur factor. Let's be clear. Shedeur Sanders is not a troubled talent. His biggest controversies revolve around watches, NIL money, and being unapologetically confident. He's flashy, yes. He's branded, yes. But he's not a liability. In fact, Shedeur represents the opposite of Berry's usual high-risk picks. He's a quarterback who's been molded under relentless media scrutiny, raised in an NFL home, and battle-tested under pressure. Yet, some fans see this pick not as a redemptive turn for Berry, but as a smokescreen, a shiny distraction from deeper issues. You bring in a flashy quarterback, and suddenly we're supposed to forget everything else? One fan recently said on local sports radio. And that sentiment isn't isolated. The concern is not about Shedeur, but about the pattern Berry has established. It's about whether this franchise, under his stewardship, values character only when convenient. And when the wins don't come fast enough, the whispers grow. Does Berry care more about talent than team chemistry? The case against Berry. To those critical of Berry, the argument is simple. Talent without discipline doesn't win titles. Culture wins titles. Trust wins titles. Look at the Chiefs, the 49ers, even the Eagles. These are franchises where leadership means something, where the locker room has a spine, and where high-risk gambles are the exception, not the norm. Berry's Browns, some argue, have flirted too often with volatility. The Watson trade, no matter how it plays out on the field, remains one of the most polarizing decisions in recent league history. That kind of move casts a long shadow, one that a Sanders draft pick can't easily erase. There's also the churn of locker room personalities, reports of internal dysfunction, players calling out coaches, and a revolving door of receivers and coordinators create an image of a franchise that is still searching for itself. And the GM sets the tone. If Berry's strategy is win at all costs, fans are beginning to wonder, what's the cost so far?